Well, we are set to write a new chapter in the storied history of the Simulation Football League. And tonight it's week 1 of season 9 of SFL minor league action as the Philadelphia Cougars come into Chicago to face the defending SFLm champion Chicago Warriors. Good evening. I'm Cameron Duty and joined as always by my partner Alex West. Alex, you and I have a knack for calling kickoff games to start the season, and we're doing it again, my friend. Week 1 of the SFLm. I know you're just as excited as I am to get this thing started.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Cameron. It's always a privilege to be in the broadcasting booth, especially alongside you. And on this, your kickoff, I'm glad to have so many spectators with us here. I think that we're in for a real show today, folks. It looks like we've got some good unit matchups on both sides of the ball. The Chicago Warriors have a stout defense with depth at multiple positions. The Philly has a plethora of offensive weapons to look towards. On the other side, Chicago's offense, maybe you could say they're a little thin, but the Cougars are not exactly stacked with riches at the defensive side of the ball either. Could go either way. I expect home field advantage to play a big part.
Thank you, Alex. Folks, as I like to say, get comfortable, grab a snack. You're not going to go anywhere for the next hour and a half or so. Kickoff is underway, and we are so glad to be with you for another season of SFLm action. And the return down to the 32-yard line, and that's where we'll say hello to the defending champion Chicago Warriors. Undefeated last season, 6-0. And we'll get ready and introduce you to the starting lineup. Quarterback Iman Kopech, who you may know played also last season in the SFL Season 22 with Houston. So a developmental player under center, 1st and 10. Pressure coming, but he stands in there and he finds the open target. That's Nick Twice. So while we're at it, let's say hello to our players here for the Chicago Warriors on offense. Quarterback number 5, Iman Kopech. Halfback number 22, Kirk Wynn. The wide receivers, number 10, Nick Twice. We just seen him with that reception. And number 80, Trent Rivera. And the tight end, number 88, Abad Ruiz II. And at guard, number 69, Zeno West. So a really good start. First play, a nice pass by Kopech. And now he hands it off, keeps it on the ground to Kirk Wynn, who gains 5, Alex.
And that, I think, is just a great effort up front to get that blocking done. But that play was set up by a beautiful throw that we saw earlier. Iman Kopech hitting that back shoulder just right on the money makes it an easy 5-yard gain.
A little pass out of the backfield, and a great job, a great defensive play right there. Open field tackle by Philadelphia, as that is number 58 who comes up to make the stop. Let's say hello to Philadelphia's defense. The defensive end, Connor O'Shaughnessy, number 79. The linebackers, number 99, Ben Bowman, number 55, Jimmy Burgett. The cornerbacks, Havo Ramsey, number 20, and Miranda Dumas at number 23. We'll take a look at this play, and a nice job of being deflected and broken up. We just mentioned Miranda Dumas, and right there it is, number 23 coming up with the play. The free safeties, Dominic Shalizzi, number 28, Eaton Moss, number 46, and J.J. Bailey, strong safety, number 45. And that will bring us to 4th down. So the defense does its job. And now we'll say hello to the kicking unit.
And that's just a drive that, we saw a little bit signs of life, but it kind of fizzled out quickly. Good adjustment by the defense to realize what Chicago was doing offensively, trying to force a little bit of stuff deep, but really looking to try and spread the field wide. They just made some simple adjustments to shut down the eye, and it's almost like that big 1st down didn't happen except for field position.
And now we say hello to the Philadelphia offense led by QB number 1, Brock Williams, making his SFL debut. And pressure coming, and he delivers one to the left side of the field, and that is complete to King Alexander, number 13, a developmental player from Jacksonville.
And that's the big fella getting the call on his very first play, no hesitation in thrusting him into the fire. He feels the blitz coming off the strong side, does not panic, and delivers a strike. That is just incredible composure by him, and it could be a sign of things to come.
It could be, and you know, talk about 6'4", 225 pounds. He certainly got the height advantage right there, and a good sturdy QB looking to make a name for himself here in the Simulation Football League. Starting here in the minor leagues, we have a man in motion. That is the wide receiver Benshad K. Coming to the bottom of your screen there from left to right, leaving one receiver to the top of the screen, and now a handoff as they keep it on the ground for the first time today, and that is Frank Udon, the halfback. Let's say hello to the rest of this offense. Quarterback Brock Williams, we mentioned. The halfback Brandon Brennenstall, you'll know him from Los Angeles. Frank Udon as well at halfback. The wide receivers, King Alexander, Benshad K, Jared Dumas, and the tight ends, Cables McGill, Daisy Pierce, and Jonathan Kilgore. They keep it on the ground on second down, and they pick up a few. 3rd and 5 on the way.
Not quite as much as they would have wanted. The defense did a good job flowing to the ball on that one to stop that toss play from getting any downhill momentum. Brennenstall's a tough runner.
And so now a 3rd down coming up. For Philadelphia, they go. It's in the house, basically, and a great reception. Again, another good throw by quarterback Williams, and it is number 27 who comes up with the reception. So the drive will continue.
Whether by land or by air, Brandon Brennenstall is here to make his mark on today's game. He is absolutely bringing some life on this drive.
So a fresh set of downs awaits Philadelphia. This is a team that last season, 3 wins and 3 losses, so they ended right at 500. The handoff. And about back to the line of scrimmage, we'll say. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Just nowhere to go. There was some push up front, but it's like there weren't any real openings or running lanes to go through, so you get kind of stuck on your line, and by that point, the second level gets down to help.
Williams to throw. He finds his man. A great reception by King Alexander, and maybe a sign of things to come. A new quarterback wide receiver chemistry there. Maybe a dynamic duo in the making.
Very possibly. King Alexander is someone who's famous for saying he's always open, and on that play, he certainly was. Burns the corner. The ball is on the way. The safety's trying to get over. Barely makes it in time. If that ball was thrown maybe a little sooner, that could go to the house.
1st and 10 inside the red zone now for these Philadelphia Cougars. They're on the prowl, but take a look at that. A great defensive play. Brennenstall knocked down, and it's number 49, William Patterson.
Just read that all the way. Didn't even have any hesitation when it came to committing to the halfback. Lays down the shoulder. Holy moly.
That's what you need from your defense. You want to try to stiffen up a little bit, slow the progression of the offense. Williams to throw over the middle. He had a man, and that is broken up, intended for Benshad K.
I like what I'm seeing from the Warriors defense. Finally, they're starting to buck up here. They're putting themselves in position, and they're doing what they can to try and get physical here. Deny easy first downs.
3rd and 15. The crowd comes to their feet. We know you are as well watching at home. Williams to throw. Oh, it was right there, possibly in the grasp of number 41, Cables McGill, but that will fall to the ground, incomplete. 4th down coming up, 4th and long.
4th and too long to be anything other than a field goal. Let's see how windy it is out today. It doesn't seem like it's that far, but it is the Windy City.
The snap and the hold. And the kick is good. A 3-point lead, Philadelphia. The Cougars strike first. And a really, overall, an impressive drive, Alex, I must say.
It's easy to say that, you know, Chicago bended, but they didn't break. But I think that's a little revisionist history. There were a few moments where Philly definitely had them on the back foot and almost broke a touchdown loose. It's very fortunate that the safeties were in position to stop those deep passes when they could. But great job stopping the run, that's for sure.
A nice kickoff here as the Warriors get ready to return this one out. And it's 1st and 10. Ball on the 32-yard line after Whited brings that one out. And now what can we expect from Chicago? Let's mention to those tuning in, maybe, you know, welcome to the SFL. If this is your first experience, SFLm action as these young talents develop and work their way through the rankings here. Chicago, the defending champions of the Simulation Football League minor league division. Oh, and pressure coming, and right now Philadelphia on both sides of the ball getting the best of Chicago. A great tackle by J.J. Bailey, the strong safety.
Heat off the strong side, just unfelt, unregistered, and it was too late by the time that Iman was starting to have his plays developed. That one was just as he was stepping up from his drop back, boom, connection.
So right now the Warriors trying to find their footing. It's certain that the Cougars have came out now really with the upper hand. Long way to go, though, in this one. 4:42 remaining in this first quarter and counting. 2nd and 14. They're backed up. What can they do? That pass by Kopech just over the intended receiver. 3rd and long on the way. Good coverage downfield.
Good coverage, but I will say I liked what I was seeing from the front group and from what they were getting out of this defense by spreading a little wider. They looked to me have a little bit more success in single back formations over the eye, maybe. Let's watch that as the game develops.
And the man in motion, that is Abad Ruiz, the 2nd developmental player out of Queen City. Plenty of time this time for Kopech, and he finds his man over the middle. That's what he can do when he has time. Trent Rivera, number 80.
And that's one just it feels like a breakdown on some level, right? Because that's just a simple go route. He gets behind everybody, and by the time they realize what's happening, you know, he's loose.
And it was about to be, you know, if not for that tackle, he could have been taking that all the way to the house. So 1st and 10, just past midfield for Chicago, finally starting to get a little bit of a rhythm about them as we make our way through this first quarter of the kickoff game of SFLm action. They keep it on the ground, and again, just another nice job of sniffing out the run. That is number 99, Ben Bowman, 6'3", 251 pounds for Philadelphia.
As much as I say don't be one-dimensional and try and mix it up a little bit, it looks like Philadelphia has done a good job game planning against the run or against the short game.
And if that is their objective, to make them one-dimensional, so far they have. And take a look at that. That pass looked to be on target for Trent Rivera, but instead knocked out by the defender, and it's 3rd and 9. This is where they stalled at last time.
That's just a big physical hit right there, and it's hard to say that that's not really a penalty. That's right on time. It's hard to see a wide receiver drop those, but it's hard to keep those in.
3rd and 9. Kopech with plenty of time. Again, over the middle, he goes right back to Trent Rivera, and why not? He certainly got the skills to make an impressive reception such as that and keep this drive alive.
Talk about skills. He's got the skills to pay the bills. A little shimmy, a little shake whenever he catches it, but most importantly, he goes up to get that catch and he brings it right into his chest. Doesn't try to think about, oh, I see pay dirt in front of me, I see open field. No, he knows that he's between the safeties and the hits are coming.
And it feels like that play was very important for Chicago to be able to get over that hurdle, convert on 3rd down. Now they are just outside of the red zone, and they send a man in motion. That is Abad Ruiz, the 2nd. The handoff now.
Some great blocking.
Yeah, some great blocking indeed. 2nd and 6.
It feels like the Warriors on that one play, every single lineman stood up their match one-on-one, across the board. It was just a sea of blue.
Now to throw. And that is in and out of the hands of the intended target. 3rd down coming up. And let's say hello real quick to this Philadelphia defense. The defensive end, Connor O'Shaughnessy. The linebackers, Ben Bowman and Jimmy Burgett. Cornerback, Savo Ramsey and Miranda Dumas. The free safeties, Dominic Shalizzi, Eaton Moss, and J.J. Bailey. We'll also say hello to Chicago's in just a moment. 3rd and 6. We just wanted to give a nod to those guys as well, doing a great job on defense. Now let's see what this offense can do. Pressure coming, and Kopech stands in there, and that is knocked out after a vicious hit. Miranda Dumas with the physical tackle.
You got to be looking the other way whenever you see Dumas in the area and has you locked in. This is one of those moments where you have all kinds of time. The line was buying him everything he needed. He just got a little antsy, wanted to get the throw out, felt that timer, that clock going.
Now with the field goal attempt, it is good. That one curved back just in the nick of time, and Chicago now draws even 3-3 with 2:29 remaining in this first quarter. Folks, if you haven't had a chance, please smash that like button and let everyone out there watching know that, hey, I'm watching SFLm action. What more could you want to do on a Friday evening? This is good stuff. The return out to the 26-yard line. And now we will see if Philadelphia can stay hot. A really good drive last time. We'll see if it continues.
It's something where it feels like, there was a stop early by Philly's defense. Philly's offense was able to score. Chicago plays a little catch-up. Now the onus is on Philly to stretch the lead. Don't give them a chance to take it back.
On the ground to Brennanstall, and take a look at that shoulder, just driving forward and a gain of 4. Now I would also like to welcome the Chicago defense. We'd like to introduce them, May Carter and Frank Doom, the defensive tackles. The linebackers, Pablo Sanchez, Dallas Knowles, and William Patterson. The cornerbacks, Devontae Moore and Ness Jinkle. And the free safeties, Tyler Highfield and Jubilee Marsh. Keeping it on the ground again. This is a team, Philadelphia, that has a 2-headed halfback attack. That's Frank Udon. And they get close to the first down, 3rd and 1. Big play here, Alex.
Home crowd on their feet trying to will a stop here. Everyone thinks the run is coming.
And they toss right side. Brennanstall for the first down. A really tough, gutsy, gritty run, what have you, whatever adjective you want to put in there. He gets just enough.
And you could hear the home crowd go, oh, they really wanted that stop. That would have given the offense great field position to work with, but they're still game.
The drive continues. 1:17 and counting in this first quarter of action. Handoff, running left side is Udon, and he gets 5.
That's just, I gotta say, some impressive running by Udon. Now, the thing about the linebacker who's kind of shucking off the block there was so back on his heels that all Udon had to do was get low, get some forward momentum going, and you were getting extra yards there. Great run, though.
Less than a minute remaining in this opening quarter at Brennanstall. Weaving his way through traffic, gets the first down. And this is a guy that the more you feed him the football, the better he gets, and he begins to turn on the jets.
He really does, and he's small, but he's powerful. He's 5'10", 5'10" in height, 210. He's like a bowling ball. He goes through gaps that you don't think a guy his strength should be able to.
Back to the ground with Udon to the left side, and they've got something going right here, Alex. You see they'll flip it right side to Brennanstall, then they'll go back to the left side with Udon and kind of keeping the Warriors on their toes.
And honestly, I kind of want them to do either a play action or look for a pass here. 2nd and 6, 3rd and 6 is manageable for this offense.
Will we get one final play of the first quarter? We do. Back on the ground to Brennanstall, who will charge forward We'll have a 3rd and 2 coming up at the other side of this small break, folks. 1/4 of play down already for week 1 of SFLm action. Philadelphia and Chicago, we're all tied up at 3. We'll be right back. Cameron Duty here with my partner Alex West and of course Cameron Irvine back at SFL headquarters. And we're so excited to be back calling football games for you folks as the regular SFL season begins to wind down. All kinds of action coming up here in this minor league to keep you football fans who are hungry for football well entertained. Toss right side to Brennanstall. He gets the 1st down, and he had to work for it.
But talk about giving the people what they want. Brandon Brennanstall is giving the coaches and the front office staff everything that they could possibly ask for, and then some from a bell cow back.
Yeah, Brennanstall, a developmental player. As we said, he was up in season 22 of the SFL League. He was with the Los Angeles Lycans, so putting the work in. Now the handoff again to Frank Udon, and it's really interesting. These 2 halfbacks, Brennanstall, as we said, playing with Los Angeles in the majors, and then you've got Frank Udon, who is making his debut tonight.
And you kind of wonder if he's going on the sideline, if he's asking Brennanstall some questions here and there between drives. I know I would.
Get all the knowledge that you possibly can in order to make you a better player. Absolutely. And 2nd and 7. Again, with these toss plays to the right side, another 3 yards by Brennanstall. 3rd and 4, and like you say, are we going to see the pass coming up?
You wonder, especially on this particular positioning, you know, it's a little long for a field goal with how strong the winds are today. You could try it, but it feels risky.
3rd and 4. They stay on the ground. Udon does just enough, lowers his head, and gets the 1st.
And I think that's really clever scheming by the offensive coordinator there, who calls a single back play, has some wide receivers spread out really wide, no tight end with their hands on the ground, sells the idea that it's a passing play. Nope, it's a run.
They're very confident in that run and the blocking they're getting up front. Again, Williams, plenty of time, and there's the pass we've been looking for, and it is complete. Oh, no. But I'm afraid we've got an injury, and it is King Alexander, who has had a great 1st quarter, and now he's down on the turf.
The King is down, and let's hope that the doctors can bring him back. But he's been a major part of the Cougars' attack for their previous drives, is through the air.
He's made some miraculous receptions already in this game, and to see him down, that's unfortunate. Hopefully it's nothing serious, and he can come back into this game. If we get an update, we'll certainly pass it along to you. They keep it now on the ground with Brennanstall, and that goes nowhere, and it'll be 2nd and 10. A nice tackle by Dallas Knowles.
And that's just a great extra effort from the big fella in the middle. 6'4", 257 pounds. It doesn't matter how fast and how sturdy Brandon is as a runner. That's a big brick wall to try and run through.
Knowles is a developmental player who played with Jacksonville last season in the SFL Majors and also played for Nashville, the Nashville Tempo, in this minor league. Brennanstall bowls down an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman there going at it on his way to a 1st and goal.
Oh, let's say, if you're a little bit mad about the blocks you're getting, I mean, just go out and hit somebody yourself. I mean, I guess. Look at that. Ugh!
Listen, you said bowling ball. I think more like wrecking ball.
Oh, man, he's scattering defenders like 10 pins on that one.
And Philadelphia continuing with a hot offense in this game. 1st and goal just outside of the goal line. Would be so shocked if they don't keep it on the ground here. Toss play left side, Udon, and it's stopped. Wow, I thought he was going to make his way in, and he gets leveled.
That's just a filthy hit. You get almost what you need. You get half the yard to go. If this is what it's going to be like, please, let me see Chicago stand strong here.
Second and goal, and the Warriors fighting like Warriors right now to keep Philadelphia out of the end zone. Brennan saw that time, shimmies in for the touchdown, and they go back out in front.
And, you know, it's hard to say you don't see that coming, especially when you get onto the 1 yard line and you have Brennan Stall in the backfield. You just got to wait until your guys get the better timing off the snap, get the better push up front to buy the 2-back attack the fraction of a second they need. Philly's just exposed that they have an incredible run game to them, and we have to see Chicago answer that.
Yeah, the SFLm world is taking notice of that run game. The extra point is good. Look at that, 16 plays, 75 yards, and over 5 minutes in the route to the end zone to go up by 7.
That was so much time eaten off the clock, and that's just what Philly did a little bit on the first drive, but this second drive was just a classic grind it out.
And we had actually asked the question, Alex, could they keep this going on the next drive out? And indeed they did. Great open field tackle there by Philadelphia to stop Chicago from advancing on the return, and they will take over again at the 32-yard line.
Big moment. You got to say to yourself on the offense, you know, we not only do we have to score here, we have to score a touchdown here, because we don't know if we're going to get another drive this half. At least not one with more than 2 minutes on the clock.
Hyman Kopech again under center. This time he delivers a cannon arm and a good reception. That is Nick Twice. You may have heard of him playing with the DC Dragons in season 22 of the SFL.
And just look at this. Again, the pressure's coming off off the strong side. Kopech feels it, doesn't fear it, delivers maybe a little overthrown, you'd say, but Nick Twice with the leaping one-handed grab. Is that our nice hands catch of the game?
That was beautiful. I would certainly call that a nice hands catch of the game for sure. 1st and 10 now on the way. We've got a man in motion down at the bottom of your screen. Trent Rivera going from left to right. Kopech to throw again with plenty of time over the middle, and that one was almost complete. Intended for a falling receiver, not able to reel it in though. 2nd down coming up.
I gotta say, Kopech is doing a great job delivering balls to receivers who are in one-on-one coverage or who are kind of like in those soft spots in between the zones. He's not delivering great balls whenever he's throwing into traffic or whenever someone's being bracketed in man. Something to watch. One-on-ones, he's on the money though.
Yeah, Kopech trying to settle in this new offense. They do a little Philadelphia of their own with a toss play to the right side, and Kirk Wynn, making his SFLm debut, picks up a good chunk.
What blocking by the front there. You can see some great works being done by the front 5 in blue.
To be on both of these teams, you got to make sure you've got a good offensive line, because running is the name of the game a lot of times. We've seen that with Philadelphia, and we're seeing it now with Chicago. Again to the ground. No. Oh, what a nice fake. Kopech instead, though, stays on his feet, but he has nowhere to go. He looked like he was going to pass. Then he kind of stood up and started to move forward for the run, and he is taken down for a loss.
You know he's going to be getting an earful on the sideline for that one, because the play action completely fooled the defense. They completely bought the fake. There was definitely a throwing lane somewhere, and if there wasn't a throwing lane, if Iman had just taken off right away, he could have gotten positive yardage and maybe a 1st down. Instead, big loss and a punt.
It fooled the defense, and it fooled the play-by-play guy. So after that punt, though, it is 1st and 10. Philadelphia will start on their 16-yard line. Interesting. Kopech just not looking very comfortable at the moment in this new scheme.
And it was a big moment to try and like stand up to, and he's had some good throws. He'll have better moments. There's a second half ahead, but now we just got to hope he sees another drive this half. Philly's going to try and march all the way and chew every bit of clock here.
Brennan Stahl knocking down defenders, fights for 3 for 2nd down. And you make a very good point, Alex, because as you said, it's nothing for these guys to take 5 minutes off the clock. And on top of that, even just to add to the point, you know, this is the type of style that Philadelphia wants to do. They take the game into their hands with the time of possession, continuing to pound on the ground. Udon, look at that, breaking through holes, and he gets close to the first.
That one I wish we could say offensive line rushed for 6.5 yards.
They continued to make a way, didn't they? And he kept pushing them.
Pushing up front.
Incredible. And Chicago just wanting to find a way to come away with a stop. Toss play, and this is going to be close. And look at Brendan Stahl just staying on his feet, staying committed to the run, getting the first down, and then some. Fresh set of downs.
And sometimes you just throw your hands up and say, yeah, that's him right there. And that's Brendan Stahl being him right there, doing exactly what he was picked to do, exactly what he did last season in the minor leagues. He is a force to be reckoned with, and he is definitely not letting up here.
Philadelphia continuing to impress this first half. Matthew Udon, gain of 4. Running is the name of the game, indeed, for these Philadelphia Cougars.
I want to see Chicago call a few more of these plays where they've got several defenders with their hands on the ground. You've seen that they're going to run a lot. Make them throw. Commit to stopping it.
Still on the ground once more, Brendan Stahl, and look at this room, and he continues to churn, eating up yardage, gaining strength, momentum, speed, what have you. Each time he gets the football, he seems like he's even getting quicker.
And you see how the play call on that one calls for him to run it between the guard and the tackle on the weak side. But he sees the blocking lanes. He sees that the area between the guard and tackle, that hole isn't as wide as it needs to be to fit him in the fullback. And he can get more just by bouncing it out, and he does. What a run. What vision.
Stahl's play again, left side, and there you go. You wanted somebody for Chicago to stand up and simply say, we're not going to let this go a yard further. A nice stop.
For sure. You got to make open field tackles. And I know it's hard when Brendan Stahl is a powerful runner. He's coming at you with momentum, and you're probably bouncing off a blocker just to make it. But you've got to do it. Sell out.
And there's another good one. It was Brendan Stahl again running, right side, looking to use that trademark stiff arm of his, and he was indeed stopped.
Dallas Knowles said, not this time. No, no, no.
Not going to happen. We've called Knowles' name a couple times already in this game.
Doom lined up right over the center.
6, the throw, and in and out of the hand of a Chicago defender. That was Devontae Moore, had a chance to come up with the interception. It is incomplete, and Chicago, though, is able to get off the field.
The defense providing exactly what they needed right on time. Now it's going to be a little bit of a 2-minute drill, but Chicago has 3 timeouts, so big moment here, a chance to tie the game up.
Punting unit doing a nice job. Oh my goodness, just about had that one down at the 1-yard line. Instead, it does bounce into the end zone, but a great effort by special teams right there. And it will be Chicago taking over from their 20. Again, if you're just joining us, my name's Cameron Duty. I'm with Alex West and Cameron Irvine in the SFL headquarters. Closing in on 2 minutes in this first half. Chicago keeping it on the ground with their halfback, Kirk Wynn. He gets a yard. And that's going to bring us to the 2-minute warning in what has been a ground and pound first half of sorts. Philadelphia leading at the moment. Chicago trying to put some points on the board. You're watching the SFLm on YouTube. Second down for your defending SFLm champion Chicago Warriors. Another ground play, and you can see that they are trying with their halfback Win, trying to develop a ground game of their own here.
They're trying to get a little bit of running rhythm established here, but it's hard to answer that whenever you're down 7, you're trying to catch up. But I respect the effort here. I expect a pass on 3rd and 6.
Kopech will throw over the head of his intended receiver, and that one certainly disappointing for the Chicago faithful. Back over to the bench they go. The punting unit will have to come out on 4th down.
And that feels like the worst case scenario here, right? That's not just it. Not only do you not score, you just went 3 and out deep in your own territory. So you're about to hand the ball back to Philly with prime field position and all 3 timeouts.
Barely 30 seconds came off the clock on that drive. After the punt, it's a fair catch fielded by Benshad K by Philadelphia, and they'll get great field position at the 43, Alex. This is not what Chicago wanted to see.
Not in the slightest, and it'll get even worse if they see number 13 back out on the field. Let's see if we see King Alexander on these upcoming snaps.
The Chicago defense being asked to step up and again keep Philadelphia at bay. They were able to do it on the last drive. What does Philadelphia have cooking? We'll find out in this next minute and 28 seconds. No halfbacks in the backfield. They're going to the air with quarterback Brock Williams. The throw complete to Brenenstahl. Now, how about that? You talk about him in the halfback formation, of course, making great runs and churning away, and then they put him out as a wideout, and he can do it there too.
And it's you say it's 5 wide receivers, yeah, but Brandon Brenenstahl, he can come out and catch the ball, he can run it, he could have taken that on a jet sweep if they felt like putting that in there.
Philadelphia now keeping it on the ground as we approach the 1-minute mark, and they'll get the first timeout call.
I think that was Chicago there who called it.
Chicago calls their first timeout, hoping obviously to try to get a chance at getting the ball back if they can come up with a stop here. Williams to throw a little higher than his intended target. That was Jared Dumas, who was the intended receiver.
And that's also just a big physical play by the defender there, who saw the pass coming in and said, no, you're not getting this catch for free. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to put the wood on you.
If you're just tuning in and looking for King Alexander for Philadelphia, an exciting first quarter, but then he took a tough shot at the start of the second quarter. We'll see if we can get an update on him. Over the middle, and nobody was home. That pass intended for Daisy Peace, but it falls incomplete.
Chicago standing strong here, but they didn't get, this.
Philadelphia feeling confident. 4th and 10. The crowd chanting defense. Philadelphia feels as if they can go on the attack here. They throw on 4th and 10. It's incomplete. But what about the guts to go for it on 4th and 10, Alex?
Honestly, I love it. I love every bit of it. What are you going to do? If you punt this one away here, then you're just saying, you know what? I don't think that I can just get 10 yards somewhere. And also, if you punt it away, you're probably doing a touchback. These punters have not reached the point where they are getting coffin corners all the time. So what if you give a little bit better field position? Your defense has been standing up Chicago all day. Count on them to stand them up for 51 seconds.
So Chicago's defense does their job. They give it back to the offense with less than a minute to work in this second quarter. A little dump off there to the halfback Wynn, who gets a pretty good gain there. And at this point, though, Alex, you would like to see them try something a little more, downfield instead of side to side.
For sure. If you're stretching the field horizontally, that only really helps if you're also able to exploit that by going vertical. But you're out of time to try and go horizontal.
Man in motion. Hyman to throw, almost intercepted. Ooh, and had he been able to get his hands on that number 55, Jimmy Burgett, he would have been gone to the house.
Dangerous throw for sure, almost disaster. If he had been able to snatch that one out of the sky, that's a guaranteed pick six. Iman Kopech getting away with one big time.
Now 3rd and 3, a crucial third down here for Chicago, wanting to extend this drive. The throw, it is complete, and that's just what they needed. They'll also call the timeout. Stops the clock after the first down.
And now we're reaching a big critical watershed moment for Chicago. But quick update on the other game that's going on. San Jose up over Nashville 7-3. San Jose quarterback Isaac Covert throws his first career touchdown to tight end Arnold Paka, a returning two-way to the team from Queen City.
The throw by Kopech, and there is another big play that they've been looking for. They're finally getting some offensive production here. A nice reception to Nick twice, and now they are almost in red zone.
And it's great whenever Iman is having the patience here and is willing to look downfield and wait to find a soft spot in the zone or wait for his man to get just enough separation from the defender. What a throw.
Kopech this time over the middle. A nice play design, something different out of them. Rivera gets the first. Clock continuing to run, 22 seconds and counting. They snap the ball, 2nd and 10, and just as you alluded to there, Alex, or as you mentioned, San Jose leading Nashville. An exciting time indeed for the SFLm with football games now firing up. A lot of content to watch, and 2 more coming tonight that we'll also be a part of.
And this is it. You can feel the tension in the air. The home crowd wants a touchdown, not a field goal.
2nd and 10 from the 11-yard line. And they bring the defenders, and because of that, nobody is in the backfield there. No defenders, and look who waltzes in. That's Nick twice for the touchdown.
What a time for Engage 8. You send the house, but everyone is wide. It's not a run play. The receivers are unguarded at the line. 3 safeties deep is not going to help you when you got only 10 yards, and that's just too easy. Candy from a baby. Chicago evening this game up.
We'd been wondering at what point would we see that Chicago offense begin to take shape, and there you have it. The extra point now is good with 17 seconds left in this first half. That time, Chicago, a 7-play, 60-yard drive, and did a really good job with the time that was allotted to make something out of it.
Truly. And, you know, I saw them on that drive make a few adaptations. At the start of that drive, they were using a lot more narrow formations, some eye stuff. But by the time whenever they were across midfield with under a minute to go, they started spreading people out. They stopped having 7 guys practically 5 feet from the ball. They really started moving the wide receivers out wide, really trying to stretch the defense and horizontally from the line of scrimmage to open up those vertical attack options. What an incredible adaptation by the OC and by the offense to read what he was calling for and respond.
Now, Alex, we know that Philadelphia went for it on 4th and 10 down there. Is that something that you regret now, knowing that Chicago, with the field position they had, was able to march down the field with enough time? Or do you still feel like, hey, that was a good gutsy call? Does your opinions change on that?
I say whatever you feel is right in the moment, you kind of got to stick to. You learn from it. Is it aggressive? Yeah. But, oh, my goodness, look at this.
Intercepted, going the other way, and a change of events. Chicago to the lead before halftime. Dallas Knowles with the INT and the pick six.
I blinked at just what happened. He was there. Dallas Knowles knew this play was coming and read it the whole way, eating film. Oh, wow.
Pressure to the backfield to quarterback Brock Williams, who is making his SFLm debut tonight. And you could tell a hand got in there, and that would just come out awkward. And Dallas Knowles was the recipient, and the benefactor.
And that's just one of those, it's a wobbly ball that goes up. Dallas is where he needs to be. He's reading where the quarterback is wanting to go anyway. He is in perfect position to collect the carom.
And the extra point is good, and just like that, Philadelphia now trails Chicago 17-10. What a difference 10 seconds makes.
I still don't think it was the wrong mistake. I still don't think it was a mistake to go for it on 4th and 10 from the 40, by the way. I think it's just, that's just football, baby. That's just, sometimes you take whatever the ball bounce gives you. You just do your best to win games.
That's just SFLm football, as a matter of fact. And like we said, why would you want to be anywhere else? 2 seconds left in this first half, and the entire game just got flipped on its top. And now Philadelphia, who comfortably, had taken control of time of possession of this first half, all of a sudden trailing by 7. No need to panic, though. Plenty of football left. And they're going to go for it deep. One last time. The pass is complete, but no chance at a score there. And that will take us to halftime.
What even do you say after a first half like that, Cam?
Speechless, right? I mean, come on. That was, like we said, you're not going to go anywhere for the next hour and a half or so, folks. You'll not find any better entertainment out there. So, Alex, let's talk about it. Halftime, and surprisingly, Chicago with the lead, 17-10. Let's try to unpack an exciting first half of action in a couple of seconds here.
I think the best way to unpack it is that this game is evenly matched. Both teams have come to win this debut game. There's a lot of people who are debutantes to the SFLm field, and they are trying to make an impact for themselves, but we are definitely seeing some of these returning dev team veterans that are playing like all-stars tonight. You want to talk about some of those? We can go shortly on Philadelphia, Brandon Brennenstall. For Chicago, Dallas Knowles. We've been calling both of their names so many times tonight, and they are making an impact in more ways than one.
And there you mentioned it, Brennenstall, an impact player, 16 rushes, 67 yards, and also 35 reception yards. Let's not forget to mention that. And of course, he does have the lone rushing touchdown for Philadelphia. And for Chicago, a game of fortune as well, coming up with a great defensive play with the INT for the pick 6, putting them in the lead. And as we get ready to get started here, Alex, let's talk about that. What does Chicago need to do coming out of the gate this second half to hold on to this lead?
Really, I think they need to lean a little bit more on Iman Kopech. I think that their rushing attack, while it's not bad, it's not been getting them first downs consistently. It's been about the pass attack for Chicago, so their offense wants to keep that up. Defensively, give it your all. They're playing very boom and bust.
Yeah, they've come up with some big stops. Obviously, we were able to see them get Philadelphia off the field a couple of times, allowed a couple of big plays as well. And then, of course, we all know about the pick 6 that just changed the complexion of this game. Cameron Duty here with Alex West, and starting this third quarter. Who knows what lays ahead of us, but we're excited to find out. We thank you all for watching. Thank you all in the chat. Thank you all who have hit the like button. We certainly appreciate every bit of it. Man in motion for Philadelphia from the top of the screen to the bottom. 3 wide receivers at the bottom of the screen, and Brock Williams to throw. A nice throw indeed. I mean, I love the throwing motion there by Williams. He throws a dart, and that is complete to his tight end, Daisy Peace.
Using every bit of that 6'4" frame to get that launch angle high to just let those come falling in gently. It's something to say whenever you have a quarterback who has arm strength, but you also have to have the touch so that every time your receivers are trying to catch these balls, you're not throwing missiles at them.
We may see another missile here, though, Alex. Take a look at this. Nobody in the backfield, 5 wide. Complete. Benshad K for the first down, and that's somebody they may need to lean on here with King Alexander injured.
We would have seen, you're right on the money there, we would have seen him on that play, but no 13 in sight for the offense on this go around. Brennan Stahl doing his dual threat thing still, but at the same time, you can't help but wonder, would King Alexander have beat his man there?
What about this tempo that they've come out with? Totally different from what we've seen the first 2 quarters. Instead, it's pass heavy, not taking a lot of time up, getting back to the line of scrimmage pretty quickly. You see the short pass there, but really quite different from what we've seen the first 2 quarters.
They are definitely looking to air it out. And when you look at the team's construction, yes, they have 2 halfbacks, but they have 3 wide receivers and 3 tight ends. They are happy to go to the air.
Ready to turn Brock Williams loose, perhaps. They do keep it on the ground this time to Brennan Stahl, who gets 5. 3rd and 5 now on the way. And for Chicago, they just want to try to slow the pace here because, as you see, look how much ground Philadelphia gained in a short matter of time.
It's just been a minute and a half, and they're already almost in the red zone. You got to make a stop here just to keep them out of field goal range.
Again, using motion. The wide out goes to the top of the screen. 2 to the left, 1 to the right, and 1 in the backfield. For Philadelphia, the Cougars. Williams rolling out, buying time, going to the house, and it is incomplete. Nice coverage there as the defender was step to step with the intended target.
Not able to find the back shoulder. That's one where the throw has to be so perfect for the receiver to have a chance whenever the corner is bracketing in front and is with you every step of the way. What a job to stay in the receiver's hip pocket. That's just incredible defense.
Now, from this side of the field, if you've watched the SFLs, the majors, if you will, you would have expected to potentially seen a field goal attempt. Developmental players down here, of course, continuing to hone their craft, so punting instead the option. And that bounces into the end zone for the touchback. And so, again, a nice job of this Chicago defense, able to get out of there without any points being scored.
And that feels like a very lucky break for Chicago, but it's also a factor of, we are in the minors, and there's a very strong crossbreed. Chicago does have the home field advantage, and they know it's a windy stadium.
The Windy City team. Handoff to the left side. Kirk Wynn, they are still determined to get him active. And it would be a good thing, like you said. It's been a little bit stale for this first half, and they're not ready to give up on that just yet.
And you know what I liked about that one, though? That was a run play that they called. It was not I formation. It was single back. There were not a bunch of tight ends crowded up. They had it spread out wide. As opposed to here, you see how it's there's a lot of receivers that are tight, close to the line of scrimmage. This is a narrow formation.
So 2nd and 4, and the handoff, and completely stuffed at the line. Philadelphia doing a good job there. That is Dominique Chalizzi making his SFLm debut tonight with a nice tackle.
Making it too easy for the defense there. You got to spread these guys out wider. You got to use some of these wider formations and lineups to make the safeties and the corners have to go outside instead of stay in.
Kopech steps up to run, and that's a little bit more of what he wanted to do. We saw him in the first half there. He had that scramble that just didn't turn out well. This is a little bit more up his alley, or in his wheelhouse, you should say.
You know what I call that one? He got a hair dryer of a talking to, where he got his hair absolutely blasted back by the coach. He says, you know what, I'm going to be a little more decisive next time I see a lane. He saw a lane and he took off. He didn't think about it. Great work. And you slid.
Looked like a nice baseball slide into home, didn't it?
Always slide. Never take the hits. It's not worth it.
1st and 10 now for Chicago. Toss play, and that is completely snuffed out by the defense. Yeah, a great job, Jimmy Burgett, on the tackle.
So, and that's just a too easy. Jimmy didn't have anywhere to go. He didn't have to complete a blitz there. He had the matchup. He had to watch and see what the halfback was doing. But to see that, tackling Kirk Wynn with no momentum, Kirk didn't have a chance to even get a step.
So now Chicago backed up a little bit, 2nd and 13. Instead, going to the air with Kopech, and you get an opportunity there to throw a dart, obviously, to show off the arm strength. Just no target, no accuracy at that point.
It looked like he was forced to throw that one faster than he wanted to because the pocket was collapsing quickly off the edge.
So 3rd and 13. Philadelphia looking for a big stop here. Kopech again to throw, and that is just off the hands of his intended target. Number 10, Nick Twice, and usually don't see a bobble like that from Nick, but instead that falls incomplete.
And he absolutely hits the turf. He knows he lets his man down. These two are former teammates. They both played for BCS previously. This is just one where he feels so bad about dropping that one. That kills the drive. Just an absolute gut punch. At least Chicago still has the lead for now.
And a nice punt this time, really, by Chicago, and a good open field tackle to stop the Cougars at the 34-yard line. Good field position coming up now for Philadelphia for a good start. And, you know, we've seen them come out right out of the gate, aggressive, throwing the ball, wanting to really let quarterback Brock Williams get loose. Will we see more of that this time?
Looks like it. 5 wide.
They answered my question. Williams to throw. Good protection. Even better defensive play. That thing stays up in the air. Continues to get bobbled around. It does fall to the ground incomplete. But, yeah, a nice job of defense there by Chicago, making sure that that one didn't go anywhere.
It was in the air so long, a Philadelphia receiver almost had a chance to make a second effort on it, but too many New Jerseys playing hacky sack practically.
Like a little hot potato, didn't it? Nobody wanted the hand on that one. 2nd and 10 now. They go back to the ground, settle down a little bit with the run, it seems, Brennan style, though. At that point, it doesn't look like he was able to make the cut and get upfield. And you know what? Let's credit Pablo Sanchez and the Chicago defense. Seems like the run game in the second half not able to move as fluently. Let's put it that way.
Pablo sniffing that one out and making the open field one-on-one tackle before Brennan could turn upfield. Just unstoppable force meets the immovable object on that one.
Sanchez, another player making his SFLm debut tonight. Again, nobody in the backfield, and Williams going to step up, try to run. But he would be absolutely denied by the big man, number 99, Frank Doom, 6'7", 350 pounds, and it all came crashing down on Williams.
Frank M.F. Doom making his presence felt, and you know that Brock is going to be feeling that one, not just on this drive, but he's going to be feeling it for the next few minutes.
You talk about an SFLm debut. That's a good way to make your name known, right?
Couldn't do much better than killing the drive single-handedly like that. Woo.
4th and 18. With 4:40 left in this fast-moving third quarter. And Chicago has come to play, and as soon as I say that, there's a fumble, but a nice recovery on special teams. They pick that one up and keep it in their possession. Scary moment for Chicago.
Heart-stopping. The home crowd just suddenly in tears. You just see the heart rate just go boom, 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 boom.
A little bit of tachycardia there for just a moment. But instead, fortune does smile on Chicago, and they are able to retain possession, and they have good field position starting at their own 41-yard line. Hyman Kopech again under center as you see the formation, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Instead, they keep it on the ground with Frank Wynn. And Wynn, with one of his best runs of the day, really gained 7.
I think that is his best run of the day. Big push up front, wide open lanes for him to go through, and he was able to get that downhill step. But again, I have to draw attention to what formation was being used. They had single back. They had the receivers a little bit more spread out. They're trying to make the Philadelphia defense wider, make it hard for the safeties to cover outside and in.
Hand off again, and boy, I tell you what, a little bit of room to run, but how about that tackle right there by the defense of Philadelphia? Just a brutal hit on the halfback.
Narrow window, one-on-one. That's the Oklahoma drill right there, and defense stands strong.
3rd and 2 on the way, and Chicago, knowing they need to keep this drive alive. They've got great field position, and they know that they could really do some damage to Philadelphia's chances at winning this game if they can put some point on the board. Roll out by Kopech. Little stutter.
Left side.
Keeper left side. Oh, he fumbles. It's on the ground, but again, they get lucky, and Kirk Wynn comes up with the fumble recovery.
Oh, my heart can't take this. What's happening? 2 fumbles forced by Philly, and they can't come up with either of them. Iman fumbled that one while sliding. How did he do that?
I feel like some of these players for Chicago should probably try to get a lottery ticket tonight. Luck is on their side this second half. 3 minutes remaining, and somehow this drive continues to stay alive, and that one goes for 1. But my goodness, let's just take a minute and catch our breath here, Alex. Like you said, 2 fumbles on this very drive.
Someone check the balls. See if those footballs been greased by the defense. Check it for foreign substances. Baseball does it. We can.
2nd and 9, 2 receivers now to your left. They bring pressure,
Oh.
and he somehow escapes. He gets rid of it, and it's just a miracle that he was able to get rid of that football. A nice job to dodge the first hit before getting rid of the football for this 3rd down coming up.
And that looked like an absolutely bone-crunching hit coming from the blind side. Kopech avoids that one, but didn't have enough time to beat the second man. Just such a miracle that he didn't get lit up and put the ball on the ground again there, though.
A big 3rd and 9. This Philadelphia defense turning up the pressure. The throw right in the hands of the intended target again. That was Trent Rivera, and it just couldn't come down with it. Of course, thanks to Miranda Dumas there, jarring it loose.
You ain't kidding about getting more physical. It's like they just got the word from the coach. No, we're hitting them every time. We're hitting them even if it's close to the whistle. I want people to feel it. And the defense just responds.
Nice looking punt here. They're going to field it at the 5. He brings it out past the 10, out to the 13. So, with that, Philadelphia got a long way to go. Plenty of time to get there. 2:30 left in this 3rd quarter. A couple of failed attempts at converting here. Do you change anything up, Alex? Do you try to stay status quo with what we've seen this second half?
I think we're going to see more airing it out with the occasional run, but primarily air attack until they can even it up.
Brennan-Stahl to the right side, gains 8 on the carry. An impressive carry, of course, and we've seen that out of him quite a bit today for 4, 5, 6-yard gains at a time.
And that's a nifty call, too. I really like that formation with the single wing back. You do a toss play to the right side. The running back is already in position to come screaming off the edge. He can use a lot more of his momentum to focus on getting upfield instead of getting over. Whereas if he was starting from way back behind, it's a little harder to do.
You remember in the first half we highlighted Brennan-Stahl. He had 67 yards. He's just now into the 70-yard range. This time it is Frank Udon who goes backward. 3rd and 3 coming up. But it's a difference in theory, and it's a difference in fundamental exercise here, because as you can see, Alex, they went more pass heavy this second half.
It looks like they're wanting to go to the ground. 3rd and 3. Look at this.
One man wide out, and then as you said, they give it to the fullback. Actually, that's the tight end, I believe, Jonathan Kilgore. They gave it to the tight end. They put Kilgore in the backfield, coming up just short. An interesting play design.
Multi-talented, but not quite talented enough and quick enough to get that extra yard. I can't blame him, though. Fella's 6'6", 265. You want him typically blocking the way.
And so Philadelphia to punt it away. Rivera fields that one, and pretty much right at midfield is where Chicago will take over. Again, great field position, and we've just seen some defensive jabs being thrown back and forth from one another in this 3rd quarter.
Both defensive squads seem to have made some adjustments. The coordinators cluing into a few things and tipping off their players. Let's see how the offense adds some wrinkles to try and adjust to what the defense is doing.
1st and 10, ball on the 49. They keep it on the ground with Kirk Wynn, who gets 1. Puts it right at midfield. 2nd and 9. clock continuing to run here as we are approaching the end of this third quarter. And in what has been an exciting game, as I said, we hope you have enjoyed it just as much as we have. This SFLm action, always exciting. And these two teams are packing punches around the weak side. And Kopech had no idea that Jimmy Burkett was that close to him.
Both linebackers blitzing, heat coming off both ends. And, you know, Amon sees the strong side blitz getting picked up just fine. He thinks he has time. He doesn't realize that Burkett's already there as well. He didn't even look that direction. He just thought there was only one rusher. Philly sending two, catches him off guard, third and forever now.
And two receivers lined up to the left, and then one to the right. He looks, he throws. That pass, that's a big one, and it's complete by Nick Twice. We said he made a couple of drops earlier in this game, but boy, he come up with a big reception when they needed him there.
And that's not even his first big reception of the game. He's had a touchdown that he practically waltzed in untouched, but I give him credit for now making two tough, leaping catches where he has to grab the ball, bring it into his chest, and knows that the hit is coming. He's not afraid to put his body on the line to bring his team a first down. I love to see it.
We're at the end of the fourth quarter with Chicago leading 17-10. Into the third as we make our way into the fourth. Cameron Duty and Alex West here. Chicago getting the ball back. 1 quarter left to play. And what has been an exciting game here in Chicago. The defending champion Warriors trying to hold on to the 7-point lead for one more quarter. They keep it on the ground there with Kirk Wynn.
And I just feel like they find more success whenever they ask Kirk when to run, when he has open lanes in front of him, when he doesn't have a lead blocker, when it's not a high traffic area.
2nd and 7. They throw it out of the backfield with the fullback. And look at that room to run. A really good play scheme. Of course, we haven't seen them do many screens out of the backfield today. That one, though, perfectly timed.
And it's one of those where there's nobody in the flat that's assigned to cover the flat on the strong side. It's a one-on-one coverage with the wide receiver and the cornerback over there. The fullback in the flat is basically unguarded for acres of space, and you can see how much he got upfield before we even saw a white jersey near him.
On first down. Closing in on the red zone. They send Nick Twice in motion. And we say hello and thank you to all those tuning in tonight to watch the handoff. Coming around left side and gets a gain of 4. Going to bring 2nd and 6 up. And do you, at some point, Alex, do you begin to get a little bit fearful that Chicago may play it a little too safe here around the red zone?
Honestly, I think it's fine to play it safe as long as you're inside the red zone. That's still makeable range field goal wise. You're up right now, so you want to chew clock. You do not want to turn this ball over. As long as you stay within shorter field goal range, you can make this a 2-score ball game. Just chew clock and don't turn it over.
They go to the air to the middle of the field, and that was huge. A leaping reception by number 87 for Chicago. He comes down with it, and they extend their lead.
They saw their window. They saw a chance to take a shot, and they took advantage. Shows what I know. Chicago making this a 2-possession game in a much more dramatic fashion.
Look at that arm by Ahmed Kopech. We talked about it. He's had a good game, just been waiting for the big throw. That time he gets it. He gets the read he wanted. And now Chicago about to extend their lead to 14. It's really been a tale of two halves thus far, hasn't it?
Really, it has. And, you know, Philly hasn't scored, I don't think, since the fourth quarter. They had the 2 drives where the first drive of the game, they marched downfield for a field goal. Chicago ties it up with another field goal. Philly then scores a touchdown. And since then, Bupkis, Chicago's defense has stood strong since then. And it feels like one of those big moments that Philly lost their way a bit, maybe lost their confidence, was that pick 6 that closed out the first half.
On the ground. on the ground again, just as you mentioned, and it's Chicago who comes up with it. We'll check for confirmation, but at the bottom of that scrap heap, the Warriors have the football. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's Benshad K who had the ball come loose.
And that's heartbreaking for Philly fans. They were hoping for a chance to answer back, hoping to try and narrow the lead, and instead, Chicago with an extremely short field.
It's just nauseating.
Home crowds up on their feet, though. They love it.
1st and 10 for Chicago, now feeling like they're in the driver's seat. Look at those lanes open for Kirk Wynn all of a sudden. Funny how things change when you have a 14-point lead.
Momentum is building, and they're back on their heels trying to find answers, and one of those linemen got flipped head over heels, rather heels over head makes more sense there, because I saw those ankles in the sky.
And this Chicago team all of a sudden looking like themselves into that play, and Kopech again just looking lost in traffic as he tried to navigate his way through, and instead a big hit by J.J. Bailey, 6'1", 219 pounds. And that brings up a big 3rd and 5. Yeah, you're right. No quit indeed. Down by 14, but still playing hard, knowing they got to get Chicago off the field. Kopech to throw. Oh, triple covered. Lucky that wasn't intercepted.
That one's such a dangerous throw. I hate that one. I would have rather have seen him throw it away or just take off running. If you got nobody downfield, roll out of the pocket, buy some time, or just get it away. Don't throw it where there's 3 of the wrong jerseys.
And you know something, Alex, about that. A silver lining for Philadelphia in all of that, no time literally off the clock. And this punt is
what?
A botched punt indeed, just coming off the punter's foot there. And so Philadelphia going to have decent field position. They weren't able to pin them deep, and so here we go. Philadelphia getting a lucky break finally after the fumble, after the turnover. And so they start from the 21-yard line.
That one could have been like 5-yard line, but instead that man kicked it with his shin instead of his foot. Goodness gracious me. Philly's got to take advantage of something here. It's a small break, but hey, it's a little bit of a break, right?
Yeah, at least, Chicago doesn't come away with any additional points. On the ground with Brennanstall, going back to the bread and butter that has worked so well with him. Ground and pound, and gets 7.
And I don't hate it. Again, we're in the 4th quarter, and there's still a certain someone missing from this Philadelphia offensive formations. You know they're probably missing their number 1 receiver in these moments. Down by 2 scores.
Yeah, King Alexander, who went out at the start of the 2nd quarter, and we've not seen him since. They keep it on the ground with Udon, and he gets nothing except bowled over. 3rd and 3, and you're right, things changed dramatically from that point on. They were cooking with grease, if you will. I mean, they were on fire that 1st quarter. Then you mentioned the injury to Alexander, and it's just looked different ever since. 3rd and 3, and this one's big. The pass just off target. Again, looking for Benshad K, but Williams there, he felt a little bit of heat, and like we mentioned, without King Alexander in there, they've had to rely on K, and the chemistry not there yet.
Not quite yet, and this is a big 4th down. It feels like one that you have to go for, and it looks like they will.
Actually, I believe it looks like they're lining up with the punt formation. Yeah. They go punt here, trying to pin Chicago deep. Of course, not knowing how many opportunities you'll have to get the ball back, but it's a nice punt. Fielded at the 30, past the 35, down to the 38-yard line. Chicago now wanting to run some very critical clock off the game here and not give Philadelphia much to work with.
And Philly, we'll see what they do about it. If I'm in the defensive coordinator's position here, I'm gambling to stop the run on the 1st down and on 2nd down. I'm selling out to stop the run on the first 2 attempts.
1st and 10 from the 38 for Chicago. Kopech again under center. keeping it in the air. And a great reception by Rivera, who also has had a couple of drops and some incompletions that were questionable, but coming up clutch right there.
Philly fans glad I'm not the one in charge of their game plannings, because holy moly, a pass like that on first down just to move the chains like that. Oh.
After this play, we will get an update on the game between San Jose and Nashville. That's coming up in just a moment, as SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine will key us in on that. This run, Wynn gets a couple, 2nd and 7. Nashville currently leading San Jose 17-7, third quarter with about 6:24 remaining. Ocean James, first career touchdown for Nashville to Isaac Knox out of the backfield, and former Chicago Warriors running back a minute later, James finds Easton King for a 53-yard completion down to the 1. Knox then dives in for his 2nd touchdown to put the tempo up by 10. And that again with 6:24 remaining in the third. And look at that reception. Now Chicago out here playing a little bit of pitch and catch.
And that's one of those moments that just looks like everything's about to go wrong. The safety blitz is coming off the weak side, or is coming off the strong side. Iman doesn't see it, but he feels it, and he throws a strike there. Tight end reaching out, grabs it with one hand. That's a big reaching catch.
Kopech, 15 of 29 for 225 yards. And one of the most important receptions of the day coming right there. The handoff again to Wynn, and now it's about chewing that clock down as Golden makes the tackle. But it's about chewing that clock now, Alex, and they just want to try to get as much as they can off of the game clock.
And they're doing so much of it through the air that these occasional run plays that don't go for a whole lot, it doesn't feel like it's all that much of a problem, because Iman's already thrown some deep balls.
Handoff left side. That goes for a couple. They'll give them about 4. 3rd and 6 on the way. And, of course, Philadelphia looking to shut things down right here. But Chicago, on the other hand, very close to field goal range.
Yeah, look where that ball is spotted right now. Just 2 yards away from being in the red zone, and we know that that is the outer limits of field goal range, but still makeable for these kickers.
Third and 6, and as you can see, they're letting that play clock run down to 3, 2. They finally snap it. It's a rollout by Kopech. He throws the pass, complete. A first down and goal. And you know what the score? They'll put this one on ice. That's what they're looking for, a touchdown to end this one.
A touchdown at this rate would be practically a death sentence. This is Chicago looking to put this game away and give the home crowd something to cheer for.
It took a while for Kopech to get comfortable. We mentioned he played for Bossier City last year. He played for Houston in the season 22 SFL team, the Headhunters. And so, you know, this guy, he's got experience, but just like all quarterbacks, you got to get used to your system, work out the kinks. First game of the season, he just came on strong the second half.
Truly has. What a second half for this fella in the opening statement win for Chicago. Assuming they can put this one to bed.
3:23 and counting. Wynn looking for a TD, and he is close. And you know he would love to get it. It would be his first touchdown of his career. As we said, he is making his debut in the SFLm today.
And as much as he's frustrated by not actually finding the end zone on that one, I know that the home fans are happy to see the clock continue to wind down. That one's going to put it under 3 minutes to go. Whatever that happens on this drive, Philly's got basically no clock to work with.
Yeah, the clock continuing to wind down. Now inside of 3 minutes, quickly approaching the 2-minute warning. And so close to the end zone and the first victory of the season for the defending champion Warriors. The jump over the pile and the touchdown. Chicago, Redmond with the TD.
And that will do it, it seems. The push by the front four was enough, a little bit of a leap to put a little extra stank on it. But Chicago is absolutely bouncing with how they have performed. It was a tough opening moment. It looked a little shaky whenever they were down 10-3. Didn't feel like the kind of start that they wanted. So the coaches must have said something that absolutely got this team lit on fire.
31-10 now after the extra point. An 8-play, 62-yard drive. It takes off 3 minutes and 50 seconds, and Philadelphia will have to go hurry here. And, you can tell that the dejection and the disappointment. You have to have, that big looming question mark. How would this game have went had King Alexander remained in this game? It truly seemed like it made Philadelphia almost one-dimensional after that.
Their passing attack, really, you felt the lack of him, because it seemed like there were a few times where it was nowhere to be had, no chances, but King Alexander made some chances with his speed, made some chances with his incredible leaps. So to suddenly not have him there as part of the attack was something that they couldn't just say next man up, Ben Shad, you're wide receiver one, Juma, you're number two now. It's a little more complex than that. His sneakers are a bit too big to fill just by saying next man up this week.
As you said, a different game awaits next week, and he should be back. The score, not very it's not very reflective of what type of game that we had today. Also, let's keep that in mind for those maybe tuning in. This was 17-10 not long ago. The throw complete again. Brock Williams, the young man making his debut tonight, continuing to sling that football. He's had moments of greatness tonight. We've seen some great things out of him. This is going to be a long season. He'll continue to mature and develop. Interception, though that one forced in there a little bit. Coming back the other way for Pablo Sanchez, who, again, talk about another SFLm debut. He gets an INT out of it.
He does, and while we made a big stink about Dallas Knowles in the first half, bringing a big juice of life to this defense, it's been the second half where Sanchez has made his efforts felt in stopping these run games, and you've seen him lay a few hits on receivers as the ball was coming in. He's been putting that effort in.
And now at this juncture, it's all about running that clock out for Chicago. Or is it? Handoff. No. Kopech rolling out. Here, I thought he was going to keep it on the ground. Instead, it is Ruiz, the intended target, and that actually stops the clock.
And there's just no mercy in the Chicago team. They're keeping their foot on the gas.
The defending champions, undefeated last year on their way to the championship. So, hey, they were getting a defensive, they're on the defense here now starting this season and trying to defend that title. They've got a lot to play for. And look at that, continuing to pass here. 3rd and 7 to McCray. 3rd and 3 on the way, and that is going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. Chicago now in the driver's seat at home. The fans on their feet. 2 more minutes, and the first victory of the season will be theirs. You're watching the SFLm on YouTube. Another score update for you. Nashville 17, San Jose 14. San Jose drawing closer. 2:55 remaining in the third as Isaac Covert's second career touchdown takes place, hitting Indianapolis development wide receiver Devin Lloyd. And a timeout called that time by Philadelphia. They want to try to get as much time as they can to work with, even if that means being down, the 3 scores that they are. They will get the ball back, and right now it's about continuing to get comfortable in your progression. We've said a young season, a team that is developing together, Alex. Even though they may be behind, like we said, the large amount that they are, it's important that they keep growing here.
For sure, there's absolutely no reason to say that this team needs to quit giving their all on every single play, because these coaches are looking to get the most out of them. And if you quit on your coaches partway through the game, then all you're going to be hearing for the next week is going to be extra effort, energy, never saying quit. if you give your all on every play, the coaches will figure out what to do from there.
And that's something that is so critical, as you mentioned, Alex, about this SFLm development from the first snap to the very last one. And a great reception that time for Philadelphia, another completion for Brock Williams. And like you mentioned, it's just continuing to learn, continuing to further advance on your fundamentals. And you get that with playing time. So that's one of the fun things about this league. We see a lot of growth as the season goes on. Pass formation, of course, for Brock Williams and the Cougars. A leaping reception by Brennan Stahl, just trying to turn something, into some positive yards there, and they do so. They use another timeout.
All that in a bag of chips for 8 yards, though. I don't know about that one. I appreciate Brennan Stahl laying out to catch that one, but it might have been better if he just let that one fall.
You don't have to use a timeout either, right?
Exactly. Like what? Second and 2, second and 10. Who cares? You need all your timeouts here.
Benshad K in motion from left to right. The throw complete over the middle, and again, that's Jared Dumas, and like we said, great moments in this game for Williams, who is certainly a gunslinger at 6'4", 225. Throwing again, though incomplete, or intercepted rather, I'm sorry. Going the other way. Look at that spin move.
Oh!
Still up his feet. He does not want to go down. That is Ness Jenkel, a debut player. Again, you have an interception, my friend.
And that's just such an incredible catch here, but how about the run after? He reads the route short, little shifty move, spin move to go away, sheds a tackle from Brock, who's trying to save the TD. It takes even more effort by the halfback and some extra offensive players to seal that one. Oh my goodness, what is this Chicago defense?
That man wanted a touchdown. And I gotta say, it's so interesting, to watch this Chicago defense show up all of a sudden. And I mean, that they did, because as we said, they were getting completely routed that first quarter. It looked like if it continues to go this way, Philadelphia, they'd be hard pressed to lose. And then all of a sudden, the Chicago defense steps up. As you mentioned, we had the injury for Philadelphia there with King Alexander, just to recap. And then after that, both sides of the ball, offense and defense, clicked in. And it was that defending champion mentality, if you will, that rallied them to where they're at, up 31-10 convincingly. And another score update, Nashville 17, San Jose 14, start of the fourth quarter.
And that'll do it. Chicago continuing their undefeated streak, maintaining it from last season. What a statement by them today on both sides of the ball. The offense started to figure it out. The defense woke up in the biggest of ways. I feel like it's not even that the defense was doing poorly at first. They were just taking some big gambles on trying to get some big plays going. But instead, it didn't pay off at first, but then it started to pay off big time.
And with that, this game is in the books, and Chicago improves to 1-0. Philadelphia goes to 0-1. But that was a contest, an exciting, tight contest, even if the score doesn't show it. Right up until midway through the fourth quarter, if you will. It was a tight one. Chicago gets the victory, 31-10. Final thoughts, Alex?
Honestly, Philadelphia came into Chicago's home stadium and they played with fire. They played with iron and steel into them. I was impressed by what they showed me, but ultimately Chicago as a whole, as a unit, they were coached better. Some better plays were called, and there's some moments where you can see some of the veteran savvy by some of the offensive players on Chicago and some of their defensive developmental players showing why they're there in the biggest of ways. Philly didn't do poorly. They kept up almost every step of the way, but the Chicago defense was just a little bit better in sealing the deal.
And there we go. Sealing the deal indeed. Convincing 14 points that fourth quarter changes the complexion of this game entirely. Chicago still undefeated, 9-0 going back to last season. They win tonight, 31-10 over Philadelphia. Stay tuned. We've got more football on the way. The Nashville-San Jose game started the fourth quarter. Click over and watch that, and we'll all be back with another two-pack of games at 9 o'clock this evening. Lexington and Pittsburgh, and then Albuquerque and Bossier City. My name's Cameron Duty for Alex West. Have a good night. Thank you. We'll see you soon.